A little bit about obviously the cruise industry. We're delighted that it's been the most resilient, and it's actually moving now, this market. Particularly, as you know, we've got lots of cruise ships all going around the UK, and we're delighted that we've also got now clients who are testing out and coming out here on the Douro and some of the other rivers in Europe. So tell us, I think the main thing that the customers are concerned about is COVID protocols.
Mm-hmm.
So can you just tell us a little bit about what do you do to make clients safe, to feel safe, and the confidence to travel again?
Okay, first of all, we only are allowing guests to board if they are fully vaccinated. Okay, so this is the first step. So ensuring that everybody that is on board is vaccinated. And this is really important. Also, of course, the use of masks. We're doing an exception here.
We're not doing that now
here,
because we're sitting down, so
and
that's
we're
fine.
just here
Yeah.
right now. So, of course, for when you have the meals, when you're going for the meals, you'll not be using it. Since I'm talking about the meals, let me tell you also that we normally have a buffet for lunch, but this is not the case. Right now we are doing all a la carte, so everything is served at the table, so we don't have any kind of contamination. So these are the main precautions that we have, the constant use of mask, even on our tours, on our excursions. We also create these bubbles, so at the restaurants we try to maintain the same guests together, so in case there would be some sort of contamination, we maintain this distance between the tables and between the groups. So these are the three main things that we are currently doing to ensure that in the eventuality of an infection, we at least could have some room contained. Yes.
Yeah. And I did notice that when the cabin was being cleaned today, they were spraying it with antibacterial spray.
Exactly. Also,
Yeah.
the housekeeping takes extra care in this case. They were always extra careful when it comes to cleanliness, but in this case, in this situation, we take it even a step further. Also, I can tell you that when once you disembark, or better, when we embarked, we actually had a full deep cleaning. We have our housekeeping team. They wear specific gear, specific equipment, and they fully disinfect all of the areas of the ship. So it's also a very important step in order to maintain not only just the cleanliness, but also protect us against possible viruses.
Yeah. It's interesting that on board we're probably on a reasonably low occupancy at the moment. This is your first cruise.
This is my first cruise this year, but
Yes.
we already had a few cruises before.
Right.
Actually, we were one of the first in Portugal. We were on the first river actually to open, at least for the same guests that we used to have. And everything is going well so far. Of course, sadly, we have some cancellations because of this situation that a lot of people are still scared of. But we would like to ensure that we are taking all of the necessary precautions in order for us to travel with us safely.
It's interesting that the Americans are primarily on board. I think probably the only British. We're the only people, well, few British on board. The Americans seem to be more resilient and more happy to travel, and
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we've had 18 months of lockdown. So what's these ships been doing, and what have you been doing? Yeah, during that time. It's a long time not to sail.
Yes, it was a long time. I can tell you that. I missed this a lot. What we have been doing, we didn't stop essentially. So we were working from home. We, of course, each year we add new people to our cruise manager team. So we were helping each other, creating presentations, creating the lists that contain all the programs. Not only that, of course, we kept on promoting the industry, the river cruising, and we tried our best to let people know that the best would be actually to delay the vacations instead of canceling. So we were really active also on social media. You can see we have a few different channels, and each of the cruise managers also has their own Instagram or Facebook. So we try our best to keep it alive. And also, of course, it's the best company. I'm not just saying this. I think you will agree with me. And they really take care of us. It's a family business, and we all stuck together through these times. So it was hard, but we all we were all there for each other, and we didn't forget what this is all about. We kept it alive.
Yeah. What was happening to the ships during this period, really?
Well, I can tell you at least from my personal experience
Yeah.
on the Douro, the ships have a docking place for instance, the winter when we have the downtime. There are specific places where these ships stay. So in this situation, they had to stay in the same area. Of course, they have maintenance. They still have the engineers on board, because you cannot simply stop a ship like this and just lock it down. So you have to keep having all the machines working properly. So when the guests arrive, it's as ready as the first day. So we had teams also stay on board, just ensuring that the ships were ready for the first day.
Yeah. So tell us about, so let's get on to positive things. We've covered all the COVID, we've got all the COVID protocols in place. We want the clients to come out here. So tell us a bit about the ship. I mean, she was, I know my colleague Julia is the godmother, and it was 2018. Mm-hmm. So how big is she? How many cabins have you got? Yeah.
Okay, we have at least 16 cabins, and I can tell you that, of course, the ships are different in terms of size, because first of all, we have the locks.
Yes.
The locks, you might have seen them,
yeah.
Beautiful works of engineering. They limit the size of the ship, so the ship is 80 meters long and 12 meters wide. So this, of course, they will be a little bit smaller than the other ships on the other European rivers, but I can tell you this actually creates a more cozy environment. So even here in the lounge, you can see, even though it's not as big as the other ships, it gives a sense of a family reunion that we like to introduce. And also, because of this situation, of course, we don't have as many people on board. You still have some room to be to have social distancing. The ship itself is new, like you said. It was built, at least it started selling in 2018. And I don't know, you tell me. The ship is great. We have two ships on board. Two ships on the Douro River, and this is the most recent one, and you can see it's.
I saw the Vida last night.
It's brand new. Yeah, you got the opportunity to check out the Ama Vida. So we're here on board the Ama Douro, and it's really a beautiful ship. Also on a beautiful river. You can see, I think, a part at least of the scenery. I can tell it's one of my favorites, and the guests also tell me that even though it's not a very long and wide river, it has this beauty, this natural beauty that we try to preserve.
Yeah. So I mean, this is my first actual river cruise. I've done a lot of ocean cruises, and ocean cruising is very different. And this is much slower pace. It's more relaxed.
Yes.
It is probably more suitable to some of the silver clients who don't want to go at that fast pace where you're going from one city to the next city to the next city. So, well, the itinerary, just tell us a little bit about the itinerary as we go down the Douro, because you say it's not a long river.
Yes, it's not a long river. You might have noticed that in 3 days we actually covered the full extension of the river. However, we did not stop and overnight on all of the places. So now going downstream, we're going to cover those places that we didn't do. So in our case, we started in Porto, of course. It's the second biggest city of Portugal, also a very international city. And then we visited the Palace of Anadia, also a very interesting place to go for wine tasting, visiting their historical gardens. And then, of course, eventually we arrived here on where we are actually leaving, the Douro Superior, the Alto Douro. And we visited Salamanca, now Castelo Rodrigo, and now we will be visiting Pinhão, which is the heart of the Portuan region, where we'll have our first meal out, and eventually we're going to have another meal out on the following day. And essentially these places, as you can see, it's a regional cruise. It's not an international cruise. You're not going to be jumping from country to country, so it's easy to control in terms of logistics. If you're wondering again about the situation of this pandemic, it's easier. We do go to Spain, but we go to Salamanca, but the restrictions are not complicated as you might have noticed. So we can have a nice, relaxing, smooth cruise. And again, like you said, it's not jumping from city to city. It's a very rural area. It's a very relaxed pace, and yeah, it fits most guests. If you're coming on a cruise just to relax, again, you're signed up for all of the tours. You don't need to sign up to any of the tours, but of course you can skip any of these tours. and most of them are suitable for all ages. And it's like you said, a nice relaxed space that would be great for your clients. Yes.
Good. Okay. Well, I think that's about it. I think we covered everything. I'm going to do a little tour around the ship in a minute.
Go ahead.
So I may have a look at some of the cabins. But yeah, no, I think it's great opportunity for me to experience it. It's my first trip with Amma, and I'm absolutely delighted. And let's hope we can send lots and lots of clients to you.
Let's hope so.
I mean, again, you would recommend adding in a Porto at the beginning? Maybe?
It's a good question that you bring up. So we do have the pre-extension.
Yes.
This actually takes you to Lisbon, so you actually have the opportunity to visit the capital. You can do it with us, of course. It's part of the cruise. It's up to you if you want to do the pre-extension or not. You mentioned the Amavida. I can tell you, depending on the ship, they also have a post-extension. So if you want to check Lisbon and the capital of Spain, Madrid, you can also do that. We have a pre-extension and a post-extension. Yes. So if you're going on the Amavida, you can have this opportunity. On the Amador, we only do the pre-extension. However, I also recommend, if you're doing your own thing, I strongly recommend that you spend a few days in Porto, because even though we are going to be in Porto and we will have our tours, it's always good to go and check things on your own, because we have all these wine cellars across the river in Gaia. So it's really a beautiful place. You should try the francesinha, which it's a local dish composed with several layers of meat. It's very unique to the country, to the region actually, of north of Porto. So I strongly suggest that you do that. They have a lot of nice hotels, Airbnb. They all have very high standards of cleanliness, and again, the masks are on everywhere we go. Once again, this is an exception that we're doing here, just so we can talk. But yeah, it's something I suggest you do. Visit Porto.
I think as a travel agent, we would highly recommend, particularly in these times, to book a complete package and do the pre and the post with Amma, to do the flights as a package, because again, in the event of anything happening, and these are very uncertain times, and we are all sort of navigating our way through it all, that it makes it so much easier. If you've gone off and done it ad hoc, it makes unpackaging it quite difficult. And I say, you are fully bonded. And again, just to plug, it's so much better if you book with a human travel agent who can guide you through all of these protocols. You know, what tests, because as you know, the British market is, we have so many tests to come out of the country, to go into Portugal, to go back into the country, then the day two. So I've been helping guests on board now with, you know, well, what do I do for my day two? When do I do it? It's day, So yes, I think highly recommend booking.
Also, sorry to interrupt. Allow me to also say that even for your return back home, we are also providing, of course, paid tests, but we can also help you on your travel back home. So if you need to arrange a test, we will do it for you. We always check, we always help you with the documentation that you might need. So even going back home, we will be here supporting you, so making sure that you get everything.
And that's the
correct.
Cushioning and the comfort of the package.
Exactly. Yes, and do use a travel agent. We work a lot with travel agents. It's really a more secure way to do things instead of doing it on your own. I strongly suggest that you contact a travel agent and do everything in a single package. Yes, it's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Yuri.
You're
Now
more
you're
than
going to go
welcome.
and
Thank
sort
you,
your
Jacqueline.
locks out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good? Very good.